Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Daily Stack. It's me, Rob Wallace, with Bitcoin News, and the two guys from 21 Rates. We got Jody, we got Avi, and we are here to bring you all the biggest news in Bitcoin on today, January 8th, 2026. We're breaking it all down, plus a fun little segment where we rank the top American cities for Bitcoiners. What's best? New York City, Miami, Austin, Nashville. We got plenty to choose from and plenty of debate. We're going to embrace debate. Which Bitcoin city is the best? Let's break it all down, boys. How you doing today?
I'm feeling good. We got the I got the IU hat on, heading down to Atlanta for the game tomorrow. So I will not be joining the Friday stacks, but I will be having a great time watching the game. So
nice.
I mean, I woke up to Bitcoin actually like saving 90, which is good. Sorry to say, like I do watch price more often than I should. So I think losing 89 would have been a very bad thing. We woke up this morning and it popped up right into 90. It's holding it. We'll see how it closes in the next 33 minutes. I think there's a chance it continues going up. That's what Sniper says, and we're going to try to have Problem Sniper back on options trader. I think he has a good macro view as well. So plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, that it feels much better to be in the 90s than the 80s. And they think if we lost 89, you're right. We were destined to go a little lower. I think there was a CME gap that needed to be filled, and we filled it. So hopefully we're back up above and off to the races. But before we hop in the news, I just got to say, I mean, you got to be pumped for this weekend, dude. Avi, you're going to it's a big game. Your team hasn't been good for a very long time. This is your opportunity for glory.
It's surreal. You should see the bet you the Indiana gear is at an all-time high of purchases right now because we're all confused. But the past 2 years has been fun, and we got some good recruits for next year. So Jody, who's a Bulldogs fan down in UGA, we got a little battle now going. We got a real team in Indiana. So I'm
That's true.
beyond.
Those little brothers coming back, right?
Yeah. He's young though, so he's not gonna. We just brought in the guy from TCU, so Josh Hoover for next year. Yeah, college sports is crazy now with NIL. The transfer portal, it's like a whole new game. But I'm loving it so far. It's good for us.
They're making a lot of money, $10 million a year to play football in college. They better be putting that into Bitcoin before they blow it all on pickle shots.
Yeah, we got to bring the Bitcoin athletes on soon. So
that's true. We need some Bitcoin athletes. Let's get into this news. Jody, let's rip it. Kick us off.
Yeah. So we're going to start out, like we just said, CoinDesk report, is Bitcoin deeply undervalued? We think so, obviously. We run a Bitcoin daily show. But as we're seeing, a lot of the ETF inflows right now show on-chain activity has slowed and long-term holders have exited, but they're seeing a shift in the overall options positioning. A lot of people at the start of the year after the December 26th options expiry, I think 26 billion was the size, now are flipping long. They're flipping positive. I think we're having a little bit of chop, but starting out, we believe it's deeply undervalued. And I think that it's good to see. We don't want to have consensus that it's undervalued and that everything's going to go up. I would say expect to have some chop in the next month as we get through these coups, if they continue. But yeah, more to look forward to.
I was going to ask, I'm looking this up too, just like the impact from Venezuela on Bitcoin mining and the cost of energy for these guys. If there's been like a massive impact at all.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty quick turnaround. I mean, we did get 30 to 50 million barrels is what Trump said. But I mean, we'll see how that all pans out. I saw some satellite footage of the oil infrastructure in Venezuela, and it's hurting. It is not looking too good. This thing's going to cost a lot of money to get that oil out of the ground there.
Yeah, for those that are listening now, you got to go back. We're about to play some clips here. Probably post them after this, but that was one of the craziest conversations we had with Mauricio, the founder of Ledin, who is Venezuelan and had real life stories about growing up there and the impact on his family and, how he had to break away. It was like, I had tears in my eyes at certain parts. It was pretty powerful. So stay tuned for those clips because that's a good one. We'll bring them back too. That was awesome.
Yeah. I think going to the next one. Look, Trump, crypto golden window. This is TD Cowen saying that the second term, which we're in right now with Donald Trump, is a golden window for crypto to establish as many long-term regulations as possible. I think we've seen that with the Genius Act. The fact that we're even using the word genius in the act name is is kind of ironic, but that's, I mean, people expect that. I think like normies expect, okay, crypto is going to do well. If Trump has like World Liberty Financial, if he has a Trump token, a Melania token, generally they're going to like let things go. The bigger question is in 2028, if, or at the end of this year, if midterms flip blue, is that going to change, the legislative like appeal, the environment? Can we get things passed? If Gavin Newsom won the presidency, is that going to block? Are we going to roll back any of these stable coins? I don't think so. I think anything we see on the strategic reserve, it's going to probably be sidelined for a while.
Yeah, well, they hope to get this market structure bill pushed through soon, right? It got through the House. It stalled in the Senate. The Dems are pushing back hard, especially as they've seen all of Trump's crypto dealings over the last couple of months. So what are we going to do? I think, but there's been good progress. Saylor has been photographed in Washington, D.C. He was with, I think Jim Justice is the congressman that he was hanging out with, the guy who has his bulldog with him all the time. Yeah. And I think they're moving forward. I think the Dems have a lot of requests to make it go through. I think some of them are conflict of interest stuff, trying to lash out at Trump for his crypto dealings. But if that goes through, that's 2 of 3, right? One was Genius Act, and then this market structure bill is number 2, and then number 3 of the big crypto bills under Trump, or number 3 would be the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. Senator Lummis will be stepping down. 2026 will be her last year here. She is not going to run for the Senate again. Of course, those are 6-year terms, and that would take her well into her 80s if she was to run again. So she doesn't want to do it. She's had her fill of 1 full term of 6 years is enough in the Senate. I'm sure that is enough stress to deal with, but she's been a great flag holder for the Bitcoin crew. And if they are able to get this Strategic Bitcoin Reserve bill passed through, that'll be quite the legacy for the senator from Wyoming. So
what is she doing next? I can see her ending up on like the advisory board of Coinbase. Like usually they go, I'm thinking like big pharma, how these guys just end up going to big pharma companies right after. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. So January 15th is the doubleheader. Both Senate Banking Committee and Senate Ag Committee are scheduled to mark up the Clarity Act, at least on the 15th. So that'll be big. MSCI news, we touched on that a little bit, but I feel like that is somewhat of a revival. I saw like I own Metaplanet, and so I'm looking at my portfolio here, but they've had a nice little run the past few days, and I think that provided some clarity for these companies that, hey, let's stick around for a little bit longer, because half of them are down 90%, right? So that was only positive, and hopefully that swings, the momentum in that direction, I'd say.
Well, the grand conspiracy theory with MSCI and strategy is going on right now.
Nope. Morgan Stanley ETF.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It lines up too perfectly.
Yeah.
The day
which is the other VanEck news too, the 2.9 million Bitcoin price target. So how much, I'm curious what you guys think in terms of like, how much credence do you have, or do they have like obviously an ulterior motive to say the price is going to continue to grow, because they're attached to a lot of these treasury companies. So how much of this is they're actually believing that it's going to hit 2.9 million versus them trying to pump their business?
So that call is for 2050, right? So, I mean, we are 20, 24 years.
2030. Okay.
So yeah, for 2.9 by 2050, we better be at 2.9 million by 2050. Yeah. I think that's a given. I mean, in terms of power law, if you follow the power law, which has been the most accurate model, some don't like it as much as others like it, but power law calls for a base case of Bitcoin roughly around $1 million by 2033, right? So that's 7 years from now, and then it will 10x over that next decade. So by the mid 2040s, it will be 10 million according to the power law. So I mean, that is over 3x what this VanEck is calling for by 2050. So I think they got to be somewhat conservative as a investment financial company out in the media, but I could 2040s, we're seeing $10 million Bitcoin. Absolutely. That's what I think.
Yeah. But the starter home in New Jersey is still going to cost 2.5 million.
Yeah, no, I think probably 10 million, probably by 2045, $10 million.
More than a Bitcoin, double Bitcoin.
Yeah. A home for a Bitcoin, a Bitcoin per home. I think that's the
goal.
That's a base case.
Yeah.
What's this Trump ruling Bitcoin crash?
I'm into it.
I'm asking the questions here. I didn't have that one up.
Tomorrow's the
What
big
is that?
day. The tariffs get legislated on. They get the ruling from the Supreme Court.
Oh, okay.
So
what are we looking at there then? So if they, what are they ruling on exactly?
Whether the tariffs are legal or not. Usually it's Congress that would need to enact something like that. Trump did it unilaterally under some economic emergency acts that the executive branch can use under economic emergencies. It is up for debate amongst the Supreme Court whether that is within his right to do so. But I mean, it has raised tens of billions of dollars, well over 30 billion. I think by the end of this year, they hope to raise $100 billion. Again, tariffs are a tax, right? And this is the largest tax increase in the shortest amount of time on the American public in history. Are they legal or not? The prediction markets are leaning like 70% that they will be shot down. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, am I a huge fan of the tariffs? I guess I think we are in pretty drastic economic times, and that during that calls for drastic measures. This was a tool that he used to threaten other countries to try to bend to our economic desires. I think it's sort of working, right? Yeah. So around 75% is they'll be shot down, and then what? Then there's going to be years of lawsuits, people clawing money back, and Trump is just further neutered in his attempt to decouple from China and rearrange the global economic order.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that could push it to Bitcoin to the 94 number we're looking for?
If it's upheld?
Yeah.
I think
if they take them away, if they say you can't be doing those.
I think the general consensus is that people think that Bitcoin and markets will go down if it's struck down.
Right. But if they're saying if they are saying they cannot have tariffs anymore, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, if they say the tariffs are not allowed, markets will go down.
Yeah. I mean, volatility is always good for Bitcoin, so I think that will cause volatility regardless.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think if effects of inflation, because Arthur Hayes, that does Maelstrom, BitMEX guy, he had an email on Monday I was reading through, and he's talking about Venezuela, and he's just looking at the price of oil, for like a lot of his trading this year, and going into the midterms, we're going to do whatever we can to keep the price of oil low because it's such a big, inflation indicator. And I could see, market maybe saying if there's no tariffs, there's less inflationary impact on tariffs. So I've seen back and forth on data, whether it comes through that tariffs lead directly to inflation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's some smart economists that would say if there's no, if we reduce the tariffs, then there's a good chance that we don't see the inflation numbers. That would prevent us from printing money.
We'll see. Time will tell tomorrow. That's the big day. It's some consequential weeks in the opening of 2026 here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 2026 is about to be wild, huh? Off to a hot start. That's all it is. But we get into the cities. I only have
let's do
5 minutes.
All right, let's have some fun. Yeah.
Let's hop in quick.
All right. So today we are going to be ranking cities in America. Which cities are best for Bitcoiners? The Bitcoin community, the Bitcoin business ecosystem. Where do you want to be in this country as a Bitcoiner? You guys want to pull it up there on the screen? Let's get it going. All right. So, Avi, you got to run in a little bit. Give us an S tier Bitcoin city.
I gotta go with Miami. I was gonna say New York, but just New York's just, I don't know. There's a lot going on politically that could change that. So with that in mind, I'll stick to the safer one with Miami. Sometimes heralded as the Bitcoin capital of the world. I think a lot of the New Yorkers during COVID obviously went down to Miami, and some of them stayed there. Zero state income tax can never hurt, right? Their former mayor was like pioneering the city, employees in Bitcoin. And so it's just seems like the fun place to go whenever you're down there. I love the warm weather being from Minnesota. So they have currently 900 enabled. I looked this up today to see how many businesses they have. 380 Bitcoin merchants and 900 Lightning enabled merchants. So one of the bigger ones there, as well as the weather, and that would be my spot.
Great choice. Yeah, Miami is definitely a Bitcoin friendly city. Absolutely. They definitely have their Web3 stuff, and in the NFT days, that was definitely the mecca of NFTs.
They got Art Basel, so that's like a big thing for them.
But yeah, you can't argue with the Florida being Bitcoin friendly. They just introduced a bill for this year for Florida to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve with 10% of their state funds to be able to invest in Bitcoin and Bitcoin ETFs. So they are moving forward. They're following Texas's lead. All right, nice. That's a good S tier choice. You got a city you want to put up on the list there, Jody?
Yeah, got to go with Austin. I think the number one driver right now, or for my selection, is employment opportunities in the Bitcoin industry. I don't have a list of all Bitcoin companies there, but we had Katie and Anita on from Citizen X Plan B. She was talking about Austin and the incredible community they have there. I think it's beyond just having small meetups. I do think that there's really good networking. There's also a lot of angel investors in tech broadly in Austin, but also we've spoken with Bitcoin focused investors. So if you are either joining a company that's Bitcoin driven, Bitcoin related, or you want to start a Bitcoin only focused company, I think it's hard to beat Austin over traditional tech hubs like New York or San Francisco.
Yeah, the strong Bitcoin community there. Bitcoin Park, Austin. They've got Unchained. Those offices are in there. TFTC, Marty Bent, his whole media empire is based out of the same building, as well as Pleb Lab. It's a business accelerator for Bitcoin companies based out of Austin. Lots of cool events. If you're ever going to South by Southwest, be sure to check out the Bitcoin Park Austin, as they have a whole week worth of events and things to join in, talks, networking. Always a lot of meat to be eaten at these events, and beers are handed out liberally. So definitely strong Bitcoin scene over in Austin. Cool. My turn.
Yeah, what we got?
I'm going to go Nashville.
Ooh.
We got Bitcoin Park. The original Bitcoin Park is there in Nashville, led by Matt Odell. And Matt Odell, of course, has his hands in multiple different Bitcoin things going on, whether it be OpenSats or Human Rights Foundation. He is raising money, handing out money, making sure that Bitcoin devs and freedom rights projects are getting funded. Lots of cool mining stuff going on at Bitcoin Park in Nashville. I believe Bitcoin Magazine has their museum in Nashville. They had a great conference there a couple of years ago where Trump came and talked. So yeah, I mean, lower taxes, of course, in Tennessee. They're on the border of North and South, but definitely more of a Southern flavor. Love their freedom. Strong Bitcoin community in Nashville. So I'm going to go Nashville.
All right. I just said I didn't want to pick New York, but I got to pick New York then.
Are you bringing New York S tier?
Yeah, I'm bringing him back.
Oh,
I don't know, man. Mamdani's gonna be
I think you
asking
gotta-
me
What's the S
soon.
tier? I don't even know what this is. What's the difference?
S is best. S, you can't beat
Oh.
S. I
S
think
is the best.
you
I
gotta-
mean,
you got to knock it down one notch.
The
No, they
politics.
just have so many big companies involved here. I mean,
Yeah, but they have the bit license. You can't even like buy Bitcoin in New York City if you're like a New York City.
you know
resident.
what? Fuck them actually for what they did with me on Coinbase. So we'll run that back. Let's do. Let me see here. Let's go. What about Cheyenne, Wyoming?
Cheyenne,
Do we have a?
I don't have that on my list. No.
I'm going Cheyenne, Wyoming. Now, I was gonna go. I had New York listed up here.
So then call it A tier. It's not. It's not. a
Okay, so
God
you can
tier.
pick where they go.
Yeah, you pick where they go.
All right. So, all right, for New York, obviously the home of like still the financial capital of the world, even though we have Mamdani in here and things could change. And let's see what happens over the next few years. But big companies like Gemini, Paxos, Chainalysis, NYDIG, you know, for the broader scheme, they're having a lot of. I mean, it's still the center for anything financial, and so it's nice to come in our backyard here and go to a lot of these different conferences that are popping up. But they also have the most Square Lightning terminals per capita, which is interesting. So I think,
but you can't use it.
Is not that year.
You can't use them in New York. You can't buy with Bitcoin with Square in New York City.
2027 is going to be the year. I'm
okay. Bit license will be revoked.
Well, I just think eventually we'll have to.
What year we put him in?
I'm my bad here. I made this. I don't have the New York City tile got erased in the latest one.
Wow.
It was there last time, but understood. We had to put it somewhere.
Yeah, I just didn't have anything else, to be honest. So I'm gonna go with New York on that one.
Go.
I'm running to go get my kid. I had to go. So
yes.
I'll hang out for one more minute to hear you guys.
All right, Jody, what you got?
Yeah. So Charlotte's a funny one. I'm not choosing Charlotte, but I will say this is tough actually. I can't be a homer, so I'm not going to pick anything in Georgia. I'm going to pick. I think at this point,
go ahead.
One of the next good. I'm going to say this is going to be an interesting choice. I'll say for like a B tier, San Francisco. The reason why is I think one of the next best Bitcoin apps is going to be some AI related app with Bitcoin Lightning payments, almost like a baby Square, like a baby, Cash App, Jack Dorsey style. He was running Square. He was, right on Market Street, right next to Uber. And there's going to be some really smart, probably immigrant kid that's going to come in and just develop amazing, actually like real world product market fit use case for using, Bitcoin with AI agents to like book travel or take it to the next level to make normal people care. There's just too many smart people there already coming out of these big FANG companies or Mag 7 companies to not do something great.
Yeah, San Francisco, I mean, they got all the talent, right? All the talent in the world, but there seems to be sort of like a antagonistic vibe against Bitcoin in San Francisco for some reason. Of course, there's a lot of Web3 stuff, a lot of tokenization, those kind of things coming out of San Francisco. Their embrace of Bitcoin, I mean, of course, Coinbase is there, but they started off at Bitcoin only and then went the way of the shitcoin. But yeah, I agree that there's a high likelihood if something groundbreaking for Bitcoin could emerge out of San Francisco in the next couple of years. And of course, Block has a strong presence there and they are pushing Bitcoin forward. Okay, me next. I'm going to go Dallas as a fella. I'm going to go A tier. Why? For Bitcoin mining. You want to get business done. You want to be the Bitcoin mining capital of the world. You want to wear a suit and tie and cowboy boots. You got to go to Dallas. You're gonna make your deals. You are going to work with ERCOT, and you are going to figure out how to get the cheapest electricity for those Bitcoin miners and make sure that the air conditioning stays on in the summer and there's no more freak winter accidents like we had a couple of years ago, and the grid stays on, you're a Bitcoiner, you're into energy, you're into Bitcoin mining, you got to go to Dallas. And Mining Disrupt, they also just started to have a conference there in Dallas on a yearly basis. Yes.
Strive, I believe, is Strive Asset Management is out of Dallas. I know Matt Cole is there.
Cole, yeah.
So Bitcoin treasury company, I think one of the ones that, could have a really unique play outside of strategy in the US. Next one, I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to say Las Vegas, home of the Bitcoin Conference 2025, home of the Bitcoin Conference 2026. I think it brings in a really good mix of people. I think moving forward, because the Bitcoin community has shown it can really provide a strong vote, provide a strong fundraising base for politicians, and it's becoming just a bigger voting bloc that's affecting American elections. You're going to need to have really big speakers. So we had Donald Trump in Nashville. We had JD Vance in Las Vegas. And the reality is there's not that many places that can have 30,000 people and a really famous person at the same time. Security infrastructure is limited in many, many places. So one of the places that can support it really easily, that has lots of security teams, is Las Vegas, in places like the Venetian, where it was held this past year, and it's going to be held again there. So to be able to fit large crowds, they need a lot of security. They pull in from other casinos and other venues to do so. Yeah, I think it's going to be A tier long term. It's also think about mindset of Nevada is a unique state that's West Coast. It's right next to LA, right next to California, but it has a lot of independence. A lot of people move out of, some of the, big Los Angeles or San Francisco and retire in Las Vegas because A, the weather, but B, it seems to be inviting alternative lifestyles. And, to be honest right now, like being Bitcoin, hyper Bitcoinized is an alternative lifestyle in the mainstream.
You're right. A bunch of freaks out there in the desert trying to live their libertarian freedom dream, do what they want. Las Vegas definitely embodies that. So yeah, good choice. You want an A? You want a B? What do you want? Always thinking.
I'm thinking B. I'm thinking
B. Bring it down to B.
I need to see more from the state legislation on this. Something more welcoming to say, hey, we are a Bitcoin city.
All right, then I'm going to take Washington, D.C. and bump it up to the A tier. We've got, of course, Trump, the crypto president, there in office, of course. And I would say the real reason this got bumped up to A is because they just opened up a pub key. Pub key number 2 just opened their doors in Washington, D.C. at the opening party. I mean, Scott Bessent was there, right? You had Congress people in attendance. The Secretary of Treasury was hanging out at the place where Bitcoiners go and drink beer in Washington, D.C. They've got lots of events, speakers, concerts, dance floor. Pub Key, Washington, D.C. definitely seems like the place to go. Haven't been there yet, but as a frequent patron of Pub Key in New York City, I definitely think I would like it down there too. There's also something called the Bitcoin Initiative in D.C. They're trying to start up the circular economy in DC, show these politicians firsthand the usefulness of Bitcoin as a medium of exchange. They are an active group. And of course, there's things like the Bitcoin Policy Institute in DC. They're trying to influence Capitol Hill to be more friendly towards Bitcoiners. Multiple different organizations, from beer halls to circular economies to think tanks, they're all working together for one effort to make DC a Bitcoin city, to show the most powerful politicians in this country the benefits of embracing Bitcoin. So DC on the come up as an A Bitcoin city.
Oof, I like it. All right, so we're gonna do lightning round. I'll go C. I want to go Atlanta. Born in Georgia, so a little bit of a homer here, but they are principal office of Fold app, one of the only Bitcoin only public companies in the US. I mean, there's obviously plenty of treasury companies, but one of the first one that's like a consumer app that's Bitcoin focused. There's a good Bitcoin community there. It's not as big as the ones in Texas, but I do think it's, has elements where it's like the Austin, the South, and people are trying to grow their own like Atlanta Tech Village and, incubators and everything to bring more investment there.
Cool. Can't argue with that. I'll say LA. I'll go C. Bitcoin's really not LA culture, but there have been some events. The Bitcoin First crew, they throw a annual event there. Fred Krueger. We got Terrence on his electric skateboard going around Santa Monica.
Model.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's your
Adrian
boy.
Pruitt from One Big Party. He was on the live stream a couple weeks ago. So, yeah.
So the culture of LA as a whole isn't too Bitcoin centric, but there are definitely some good Bitcoiners over there in LA. All right, let's bang 4 more of these out and call it a successful tier list. You got 2 more on you?
I'm gonna straight up go. I'm gonna start going F tiers. let's just start being haters.
Yes.
I'm going to say Charlotte just because I haven't heard anything out of Charlotte, and there's, the banking capital. I think that this is caveat. I haven't looked at, if you are a Charlotte Bitcoiner, I apologize. If you have great meetups, I just haven't heard of them. So I apologize for that. But I am going to attack the fact that if it's Bank of America, it has a stronghold there. If you have, I don't know, it used to be BB&T, but now like Wells Fargo or SunTrust or like one of those conglomerates of banks, I am thinking that they are not accepting Bitcoin as the new payment layer. They're still very deeply entrenched with Swift, Visa, and MasterCard and every other, payment network.
The Baker City. Yeah, forget that. I would be, lest we forget our boys over at the Space Denver. We got to bring that up. That's another up and coming Bitcoin city.
Wyatt O'Rourke. Yeah.
Yeah, got him. We got Eric Yakes, got Tyler Stevens working on Bitcoin mining waste heat, turning the heat from Bitcoin miners into a useful product of the Bitcoin mining process, heating homes, heating different heating hot tubs. Lots of cool stuff coming out of the Space Denver, a huge hub doing weekly, monthly events. Definitely, if you're over in the Rockies, you got to go check out Space Denver. Be a hater. I like the hater energy.
we got to be haters. If there was an NYC, I might have to like toss the NYC on there just because of the bit license and the Coinbase.
Yeah, I mean, I think cities like Baltimore, right? I mean, I don't really know.
I have to go back to like let's throw Phoenix in there. Phoenix, but I want to throw them up in like B tier because they were one of the first. I think they were one of the first ones to move on strategic reserve. They have enough support to actually get some of that legislation moving, which absent current news on any of these cities, there must be a voter base there that is supporting a candidate willing to put that on the ballot.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go San Jose. I'm going to say F tier because San Jose is probably the closest city to Sacramento, and Sacramento, they are not too cool to Bitcoiners. Tech in general, they just passed the law that says if you leave your Bitcoin on an exchange and don't touch it for 3 years, the state has the right to confiscate it and keep it, quote unquote, for safekeeping. So interesting law there. San Jose, close to Sacramento, sort of dictatorial there. Well, I think we've proven our point here. I think we've shouted out the winners up top: Miami, Austin, Nashville, Dallas, DC, Denver. There's some pretty cool cities there. Some desirable. Those were hot spots to move to during COVID. And I think a lot of Bitcoiners did make that move in 2020 to these places.
I think we're having a rereading yesterday about like a renewal of the COVID move. Once, AI comes in, there's even less reasons to put people in expensive offices. So much of the work is going to be done. So many individual creators are going to make their careers that way. It's going to take some transition time, but there's a case that people will be mobile and they're going to look up to meet up with others that are like-minded. Talk today, Brian Rothenberg, one of our co-hosts on Treasury Talks, or guest host, but he's been on 6 of them. It might out of the 7 that we've had. He just moved to Texas. Talking to him today, so we'll have to bring him back on Treasury Talk soon. We're lining up some guests, and yeah, I think it's a good thing to go through. We also need to get Katie and Anita back on.
Yeah, shows where the best Bitcoin cities are around the world. Expert global citizen there. Cool. All right, Jody, I think we call it a day. That was a quick, short, fun one, daily stack, but we're just getting you guys used to the fact that we are going to be doing this 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We're going to be streaming live, bringing you the news, insights, great guests, and then fun segments like this. Keep you entertained throughout the day. That's what we do here. Jody, any last words?
Last words to 21rates.com/stack. We want you to win Bitcoin. If you jump in there today, you sign up for the newsletter, you're going to get double the entry on the giveaway tomorrow. So we'll be doing a giveaway tomorrow. Best way to get people to start using Bitcoin and actually caring about it is by giving them some to actually have some ownership in the game. So we want to pay you over the Lightning Network. We want to use it. We want to transact with Lightning. We don't have a wallet ourselves, so we send it out to whatever wallet that you give us. And then as well, you'll see in there ways to learn about different, Bitcoin services, earn sats through, checking in, going through different learning campaigns. There's a lot to check out. There's a lot of ways to win. We're going to be rolling out more. Give us feedback if you get in there and you don't get the sats you want, or you want to see more opportunities.
We're making this a whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, sign on in and you got a chance to win some sats tomorrow on the Friday stack. Going to be a fun one. All right, Jody, thank you so much.
We'll see y'all.
Bye-bye.